Hello everyone, welcome to this class of Sociology Optional Syllabus discussion. If you have chosen Sociology as your optional subject for this UPSC Civil Service examination, or you are thinking to take Sociology Optional but you are a little bit confused that what is there actually inside the syllabus. So today this confusion would be over, because I am going to decode this sociology syllabus for you with various examples also. I will actually explain exactly what is there inside sociology syllabus as prescribed by the UPSC. Now see, sociology is very interesting subject, having a small syllabus that actually helps you understand how society works, why people behave the way they do in groups, and how actually things change over time. Now this optional paper is divided into two parts, and optional carry 500 marks, which plays a very important role in your final selection. So optional is divided into two parts. One is paper 1, and that is actually, if we talk about sociology syllabus, that is paper 1 is actually fundamentals of sociology, and there is paper 2 sociology, that is Indian sociology. Now paper 2 sociology, we call it Indian sociology because it focuses exclusive on Indian society, its structure, changes, such kind of things. Now as I said, that sociology mains paper 1 is what? Fundamentals of sociology. That is actually, you can say, your gateway to understanding the sociological way of thinking. It actually introduces you to the discipline of sociology, its origin, its scientific aspirations, that it wanted to be like a science. And there are groundbreaking ideas of it founding fathers, and there are fundamental concepts like, say, social stratification, work and economy, politics and society, religion and kinship, okay na, social change, such kind of things are there. Now here, by breaking down each topic into simple terms and illustrating them with example, so here my motive is to demystify the syllabus and make your preparation more focused. And for your information, in starting itself, I want to clarify that this sociology syllabus discussion will be in two parts, and today our entire focus would be on explaining paper 1 sociology syllabus. Okay, that what is there inside paper 1 sociology. Now if you have seen syllabus, there are 10 units, 10 topics in the first paper sociology. See that New Vishal sociology, you might have seen that, or you can purchase it from bookstore, okay na. So that is very good. Here you will find syllabus of sociology, and it also includes topic wise trend analysis, okay na. Question, previous year questions what UPSC have asked, they have systematically arranged topic wise, but you must purchase unsolved, because whatever you see in the market, solved sociology papers, their quality is not good, okay na, and this goes with other optionals also. Anyway, so we are going to look into paper 1 sociology. So starting with unit 1. Unit 1 is what? Unit 1 is sociology the discipline. So I was telling about this New Vishal, you can purchase this. That is good. I also use that only. So unit 1 is sociology, the discipline. Now if you look here, this unit, first unit, has been divided into 3 parts. First is what? Modernity and social change in Europe and emergence of sociology. So that is the first subtopic under unit 1. Then second is scope of the subject and comparison with other social science. And inside this third subtopic is sociology and common sense. Now come to this first subtopic, that is modernity and social change in Europe and emergence of sociology. Now this topic itself is very interesting topic. This topic is actually your introduction to sociology itself. It is related to origin of sociology, that why sociology emerged, where it emerged, why sociology emerged, where it emerged. So this is about its emergence. That means why sociology emerged, and once it emerged, then what was its course. Now see, imagine a time when life was very simple. People lived in small villages and traditions were very strong. Then suddenly what happened? Suddenly huge changes, society experienced, huge changes happened in Europe. We are talking in context of Europe because this discipline has emerged there only first, not in other countries like Asian countries or African countries. Okay, now so suddenly European society started experiencing huge changes, especially from 17th to 19th centuries. And these changes were called modernity. And they created lots of problems in European society, lots of problems. And these changes were so big that people started looking for new ways to understand society, societal problems. And also people wanted to solve those problems. And you know, the existing knowledge, which was actually religious knowledge, it was not able to provide answers. It was not able to solve the existing problems that time. So this led to birth of sociology. That with sociological knowledge, we will be able to restructure society, reconstruct society. We would solve all the problems we are experiencing in the society. So this was the motive behind emergence of sociology as a scientific discipline. So there was the phase, for example, phase of say enlightenment, age of reason. So what happened? That people started using reason and science to understand their world. They started questioning the old beliefs, and authorities like kings, church, they started questioning all these institutions. See, for example, before, if there was say a famine, people might say it's because of God's will, God's wrath. But after the enlightenment, they ask, what are the economic reasons for this famine? How can we solve this problem of famine? Okay, now so enlightenment, it started changing people's thought. Then there was French Revolution, 1789. You would be reading in your world history, French Revolution. And this was a political revolution that brought ideas of say liberty, equality, fraternity. and it completely changed the way people thought about government and individuals' rights. So for example, before kings, they ruled. How they ruled? There was a theory called divine right theory, that it's God-given duty of a particular king to rule. It's God-given duty, and therefore since he is doing God's duty, so he must be obeyed. But after the revolution, the idea was that people should govern themselves. It's not a divine right which is given to king, no. So this created new social structures, and therefore in the process it also created various problems in society. Okay, na? Then of course there was industrial revolution, late 18th and 19th century, and this was a massive economic and technological change. That what happened, that in European society factory emerged, particularly first in England and later on in other European countries. Factory emerged, and therefore as a result of that, people started moving from village to crowded cities. Urbanization started happening at a rapid pace, and new social problems like say poverty, pollution, poor working condition, various disease, such kind of things arose. That before most people were farmers, suddenly they were working in factories, long hours. They were working in factories in very dangerous condition, living in cramped slums. So sociologists like Karl Marx, Emil Durkheim, okay na? So all those people tried to understand these new problems. And you know, these rapid and chaotic changes made thinkers realize that society itself needed to be studied scientifically, just like the nature. So what they wanted, they actually wanted to find the laws of society, to bring order in the society, to bring progress in the society. And there is one father of the sociology, Auguste Comte, often called, he is called the father of the sociology. He believed that society could be studied scientifically to discover its laws. So in this first topic, we study this change, so modernity and social change in Europe and emergence of sociology. That why sociology emerged, where it emerged. Clear? The next subtopic is what? Scope of the subject and comparison with other social science. Now when you look into this topic deals with the issue that what exactly does sociology study? What sociology can and should study? And also how it is different from other subjects that also study human and society. For example, say history, economics, philosophy, political science, psychology, anthropology. So these 6 other disciplines, we try to compare it with sociology. In that we actually see how sociology influences other discipline, other such discipline, and how it also gets influenced by those discipline. Clear now? Then sociology and common sense. What does it mean? See, we all have common sense. common sense ideas about how society actually works based on our personal experience, based on our upbringing, and what we hear around us. But sociology goes beyond that. Sociology goes beyond common sense. It uses systematic research, evidence, proof, critical thinking to understand any social phenomenon. Any social phenomenon. For example, there is syllabus, suicide, or say religion, family, whatever it may be. Okay, na? So common sense, what common sense? It is often based on what? Assumptions, stereotypes, personal bias, prejudice, you can say, limited experience. Okay, na? And this common sense can be contradictory and wrong also. I'll give you example. For example, common sense would say poor people are lazy, and therefore that's why they are poor. But sociological understanding would be different. A sociologist would investigate that how systematic factors like say lack of educational opportunities, or say discrimination, economic recession, or whatever, or say someone inherits wealth, property, that contribute to poverty, others which are not able to inherit from their ancestors, fathers, grandfathers. Okay, na? So this factor lies behind the phenomenon of poverty rather than just individual laziness. And here common sense often actually accepts things at face value, but when it comes to sociology, sociology questions, investigates, and it actually seeks a deeper meaning, evidence-based explanations behind any phenomenon. Clear na? So this was related to the first unit of paper 1. Now come to the second and third unit. So come to the second. Second is sociology as science. Sociology as science, and under this there are how many? 5 subtopics. Science, scientific method and its critique, major theoretical strands of research methodology, then positivism and its critique, 4th is fact, value and objectivity, and 5th is non-positivist methodology. Clear? So this was second unit, and if we look into this third unit, research methods and analysis, so here there are 3 topics, subtopics: qualitative and quantitative methods, techniques of data collection, and third is variables, sampling, hypothesis, reliability and validity. So combining this topic 2 and 3, we actually call it methodology topic. Okay, now this topic 2 and 3, unit 2 and 3, this unit deals with a big question: can sociology be a science like say physics, biology or chemistry? And if so, how do sociologists conduct their research, whether they are able to arrive at 100% truth or not? So such kind of things we try to investigate under these 2 topics. Okay, na? And for this debate goes on, because answer is not black and white, things lie in gray actually here. Now under this sociology as science, okay, so first topic mentioned is science, scientific method and its critique. Now in this, what we do, we try to understand that what is science, what method we call as scientific method, okay na, that what are its characteristics. Also we try to analyze whether, okay na, application of scientific method is possible in sociology or not. So such kind of things we look into that. So actually there are various criticism of scientific method, where some sociologists, they say that it is not practically feasible, possible to follow the same scientific method as successfully as physics, biology, or say chemistry are able to do. Okay, na? So we try to look into those aspects. Clear? The next sub topic under it is what? Measure theoretical strands of research methodology. So measure theoretical strands. Now here, what is meant by theoretical strands? See, theoretical strand means, say, distinct set of ideas or say concepts that forms the foundation for understanding something. And in our case, it's what? It's research methodology. So major theoretical strands include, you can say, positivism, non-positivism, anti-positivism, even feminist methodology, etc. And many of them are also separately mentioned in the syllabus. So for example, there is also mentioned, separately mentioned what? Positivism and its critique. Now what is positivism? Positivism is actually an approach, a philosophical approach. An approach that says, it argues that sociology is a science and the social world, society, can and should be studied using the same scientific method as natural science, such as physics, biology, they do. And these positivists, they believe that society operates according to certain social laws that can be actually discovered. How? Through observation, through measurement, such kind of things, experimentation. So this is the stand of positivist. This is what we study. And then there are various critics of positivism. That many sociologists, they argue that human beings, they are not like atoms. They are not like chemicals. We have what? We have mind, we have consciousness, we have free will. Individuals have emotions, and we give meaning to our actions. Before doing anything, we give some meaning and then we act. And these things cannot be simply measured or observed like physical objects. So if you let me here elaborate a little more. So critic, what they say, they actually say human behavior is too complex and it is highly unpredictable. That researchers' own values, biasness can never be fully removed from this research process. And society is constantly changing. So finding a universal law is a very difficult thing to do. So they say focusing only on observable facts, what happens that it misses the deeper meaning, that what people attach to their various actions. So for example, if you observe some people is crying, so positivist might just record that act of crying Okay na? But a critic would say that you need to understand that why that person is actually crying. Okay na? Why they are crying? Whether it is sadness or whether it is joy, that got rank 1 in UPSC examination and now started crying. So that is not the pain, cry of pain. It's cry of what? Joy, bliss. Or say there may be cry behind this anger or something else. So what is here? They say that the meaning behind that phenomenon matters. Okay na? So we look into that debate. Clear na? Then what is there? So positivism and its critic. Then fact value and objectivity. Fact value and objectivity. Now what does it mean? What is fact? See, fact is something that is true and can be observed independently. For example, you can say that there is certain percentage of unemployment. Say unemployment rate is 7-8%. So that is a fact. And what is value? A belief, a personal belief or judgment about what is good, what is right, what is desirable, or what is wrong. For example, I gave you example of unemployment. So unemployment, if you say unemployment is a terrible problem that needs to be solved. So here your value element has come into action. And what is objectivity? Objectivity is nothing but frame of mind on the part of the researcher. The idea that research should be free from personal bias. It should be free from your emotions, researchers' emotions, researchers' own values. Okay na? So researchers should present facts as they are without letting their emotion influence their own judgment, influence the finding. Such kind of things should not occur in sociological research. Clear? Now, but there is also this debate that can sociologists truly be objective? Okay na? See, they say it's very difficult actually. Why difficult? Because they say that sociologists, they are a part of this very society which they try to study. Their background, their belief, their experience can unconsciously also influence their research operation. So we study views here of various sociologists in this regard. So for example, our one, this prominent sociologist mentioned in syllabus is Max Weber. Now what he argued? He says that he has given this concept of value neutrality in sociological research. Value neutrality. That sociologists should be aware of their values and try to prevent them from distorting the facts. They say in Hindi, तोड़ मड़ोड़ के किसी चीज को present करना. He says no, such kind of things should not be done by a researcher. But at the same time, Max Weber also said that values are important in choosing what to study. Okay na? So such things we look into. Clear? Then non-positivist methodologies. Now these are research approaches that actually rejects the strict positivist idea of studying society, like natural science, physics. So what non-positivist methodology do is, it actually emphasizes on what? It emphasizes on understanding the meanings, motives. It emphasizes on interpretation of the reality. Also, it emphasizes on understanding subjective experience of the people's feelings. And here also important thinker is Max Weber. There are others also, but Max Weber, who has given the concept of Verstehen, which means understanding or empathetic understanding. So he says that sociologists must try to put themselves in the shoes of the people they want to study, to grasp the meaning behind their various actions, that why they are doing the things they are doing. Okay, now then there are phenomenologists. Phenomenology, it's anti-positivist methodology, which says application of positive method. Positive method means what? Scientific method, for your understanding. So application of positive method or scientific method in sociology is not possible at all. Okay, now so we study these things, and UPSC asks question related to this. Clear? So this was unit 2, sociology as science. Now come to unit 3, research method and analysis. And here first subtopic is what? Qualitative and quantitative method. Qualitative and quantitative method. Now what is quantitative method? Quantitative method actually measures any social phenomenon using numbers, statistics, and its main objective, it actually tries to identify the patterns, correlations, cause effect, you can say, generalization. Its aim is to arrive at generalization. Quantitative method. Okay, now while in qualitative method, what is focus? In qualitative method, focus is on gaining in-depth understanding of any social phenomenon. So meaning, experience, they try to understand this. Motive. Clear? Then other small topic here include techniques of data collection, variable sampling, hypothesis, reliability and validity. So these are small topics we study. Then come to next unit, that is unit 4, sociological thinkers. Sociological thinkers, and this is the most crucial unit of paper 1 sociology. Sociological thinkers. This is actually the backbone of sociology, core part of sociology paper 1, the sociological theories. And there are mentioned 6 thinkers in your syllabus: Karl Marx, Max Weber, Emil Durkheim. Okay, na? And these 3 combined, they are called founding fathers of sociology. There is Auguste Comte, that is different person. He has given this name of new discipline, sociology. So we call him founding fathers, Auguste Comte. But UPSC has not mentioned that thinkers in the syllabus. But for our understanding of sociology properly, we also study him, because he was also given very important concept related to sociology, and I take one class, that is small things, and we take one class of that to understand Auguste Comte's view related to sociology. But as I said, he is not mentioned in the syllabus, but he's also very important thinker, Auguste Comte. But anyway, so Karl Marx, Emil Durkheim and Max Weber, they are called the founding fathers of sociology, because they have given various important concept in the field of sociology. Okay, na? And then you have other three thinkers, Talcott Parsons, this Robert K. Merton, R. K. Merton and G.H. Mead. And these all six thinkers, they would become your mentors. They have given various interesting and you can say eye-opening theories that they take you to different planet, different world. Once you read them, your thought process will change and you will start looking at world differently, from different lens. Okay, now if you look into the syllabus, so under Karl Marx they have mentioned what? Four things: historical materialism, mode of production, alienation and class struggle. Now what is this history? I will try to little bit elaborate here in Karl Marx. What is this historical materialism? See, when we talk about this concept of historical materialism, this concept actually represents both Karl Marx's perspective, his viewpoint, and also it's a methodology. So in historical materialism, we find both things here. What? Perspective and methodology to understand society. And when it comes to the idea of this mode of production, so what is this mode of production? It refers to his view of social structure, that how society is conceived, how society is made up of. So he talks about, Karl Marx talks about a base and superstructure. We study that, very interesting. And then class struggle. So class struggle is nothing but it can be treated as an explanation or say an application of his methodology of historical materialism to explain conflict and change in society. And then alienation. What is alienation here? Alienation is a concept that actually Karl Marx has highlighted. He has developed to highlight the consequence, the negative consequence, the dehumanizing consequences of industrial capitalist society on human beings. And these are very interesting theories. Okay. Then under Emil Durkheim, what is there? Division of labor, social fact, suicide, religion and society. Very interesting theory he has given. Under Max Weber, social action, ideal type, authority, bureaucracy, Protestant ethics and spirit of capitalism. Under Talcott Parsons, social system, pattern variable. Under R. K. Merton, there is what? Latent and manifest functions. Conformity and deviance, reference group. And last thinker, sixth thinker is G.H. Mead. So here UPSC has mentioned self and identity. Okay. And as I said earlier, these thinkers are considered as the core of sociology, backbone of sociology. That once you are strong in thinkers, then the other topics, following parts of the sociology will be quite easy for you, very easy to understand. How? See, if you look into the syllabus, you will find there is a mention of theories of these thinkers in different units, different chapters of paper 1 sociology. For example, look into the unit 5, that is stratification and mobility. So there is theories of social stratification. So like structural functionalist theory, Marxist theory, Weberian theory. Weberian theory means theory given by Max Weber. Weberian theory. Then if you talk about chapter 7, okay, politics and society. So there is also sociological theories. That is what? That is sociological theories of power. And also in chapter on religion, then that unit number 8, there is sociological theories of religion. And last chapter, last unit, that is 10, okay, also there is what? Social, that topic is what? So this unit 10 is social change in modern society. There is what? There is sociological theory of social change. Okay, now so we find that in almost every topics of paper 1 sociology, there is sociological theories. So for this reason, thinkers are considered as the core of sociology. Yeah. So you need to understand the core ideas of these foundational thinkers as their concept form the basis for further sociological analysis. Clear now? So this was related to sociological thinkers. Now come to this next unit, that is 5th, stratification and mobility. Stratification and mobility. Now this chapter actually examines that how societies are divided into layers. Like that, if you look into society, there are rich, middle class people, there are poor class people also. So how societies are divided into various layers and how people move between these layers. Clear now? So these things is looked by this topic, unit 5. Now what is the meaning of stratification? It's simple, in one word you can say hierarchy. Hierarchy. That in society there are groups placed one above the other in a hierarchical way. So there are rich, there are poor, some are powerful, others are powerless, like that. So there is hierarchy, and on the basis of wealth, power, prestige, groups are arranged in hierarchy. So if we take example from our society, Indian society, so traditional Indian society, traditional caste system in India, that is an example of stratification. Okay now? Or medieval Europe, state system, that was example of stratification. Okay now? Where there was church, then aristocratic nobility or common people. So strata division was there, different laws was applicable to them. Anyway, so in stratification and mobility chapter, what you have? You have concepts like equality, inequality, hierarchy, exclusion, poverty, deprivation. Such kind of things are there. Then you have theories of social stratification, structural functionalist theory, Marxist theory, Weberian theory. Now, what is meant by these theories of social stratification? It means different explanations for why societies are divided into various layers. So under this structural functionalist theory, we studied Talcott Parsons, we studied Davis and Moore, other thinker that is there. Under this we study, because they have given this structural functional theory, Davis and Moore, M-O-O-R-E, Moore. And their main idea is social stratification is very much essential, that is necessary, and that is actually beneficial for the society. Why? Because it ensures that the most important and difficult jobs are in society must be fulfilled by most talented and qualified people. So higher reward, whether it is money, prestige or whatever, higher reward actually motivates people to train for these specialized roles, and it requires sacrifice, and therefore you must compensate them in terms of high reward. Okay na? So that structural functionalist theory, we study that. Though there is criticism also, we study criticism in that. Okay, then Marxist theory, Karl Marx, Marxist theory. So here main idea here is that stratification is a result of economic exploitation. Economic exploitation. Exploitation of whom? Exploitation of working class. What it is called in French, proletariat. So here exploitation of working class. The ruling class, that is bourgeoisie, that is also a French term popularized by Karl Marx, bourgeoisie, B-O-U-R-G-E-O-I-S-I-E, bourgeoisie. That means capitalist class. Okay now? So Karl Marx has said this capitalist class as a ruling class. So he says this ruling class, they exploit the working class to maximize their profit, leading to inherent inequality in the society. So this is Karl Marx thinking. Then there is Weberian theory, Max Weber theory. Now Max Weber actually counters Karl Marx and says his main idea is that stratification is not just about economics, means class. It's not about only money. Economy was main focus of Karl Marx. So Weber says no, it's not about only economy or class. Stratification is a multi-dimensional phenomenon, and he says that it is based on three independent but interacting factors. That is class, what Marx says. Weber says yes, class is also there, but in addition to that, status and power. Okay na? That also determine stratification in society, hierarchy in society. So where focus of Karl Marx was only on class or economy, but when it came to Max Weber, he added two more things, status and power. So we study this thing in detail. Okay. Then there are various dimensions of social stratification. That is social stratification of class, social stratification of status group, gender, ethnicity, and race. These are actually the different ways societies are divided. Okay, and how inequality manifests at societal level. So in these terms, actually social stratification exists or inequality exists, or that is visible at societal level. So there is, if we say class, so class means what? Inequality or hierarchy or division or stratification based on economic position, like income, wealth, occupation. So upper class, middle class, working class. If you talk about status group, so groups, what is status groups? Groups sharing similar social honor or lifestyle, and often it is based on shared culture, education, or say family background. So for example, an aristocratic family, or say a community of artists, or say a professional groups like say doctors, lawyers, engineers. Then when it comes to gender, gender is what? Gender is socially constructed roles, behaviors, expressions. Okay na? And you can say this identities of girl or woman, or say boys, men. So here gender based identity. And this gender often leads to what? If there is gender based stratification of in society, men and women, this leads to unequal power, unequal opportunities. That men are given unequal opportunities. Unequal opportunities in the sense positive, means higher authority, higher power, higher prestige in the society. When it comes to women, they are given these things in lower terms. Means women, property right is not given to women if we talk about traditional Indian society. Okay na? There is less authority associated with women, less prestige. So such kind of division, that is gender based division. Women are being paid less than men for the same work. Gender pay gap report you can see. Okay na? Or women being underrepresented in various leadership position, various higher position. Clear? Then ethnicity. Ethnicity. What is ethnicity? A group sharing a common culture, heritage, sharing common religion, or say speaking similar language, or belonging to a particular place, national origin. And it can be a basis for both identity and inequality, ethnicity. So if you say that people of Punjab origin forming what? You can say they are an ethnic group, sharing language, cultural practices. Then what is race? Race is a social construct used to categorize people based on some criteria. Based on what? Physical characteristics, biological criteria. What biological criteria? Like say skin color. And therefore often this race leads to what? Discrimination and inequality. So look for this historical segregation and discrimination against what? Blacks in America. They are referred as what? Negroes, derogatorily there. So such things. And lastly you have what? Social mobility here. In that open and closed system, then types of mobility, sources of mobility, cause of mobility. Now what is social mobility? See, mobility means what? Movement. And social mobility means movement of individual or groups across the social structure, social position, social strata. Say social structure, for example, like economic structure, political structure, social structure, like say caste structure. Earlier, for example, if that group was belonging to Sudra caste, now it became some forward caste because of Sanskritization. That concept is there in second paper, we study that. So it's also an example of what? Social mobility. Or today one group was powerless and next in few years or decades it becomes powerful. That is also an example of social mobility. Or earlier that group was poor, now it has become wealthy. Social mobility. And this social mobility actually could be upward or downward, upward mobility or downward mobility. But generally in sociology we study upward social mobility. Okay. So social mobility, and in simple term, what is social mobility? Social mobility is a situation where an individual or group improves its position in society. As simple as that. Clear? And there is what? Open and closed system. System here means what? System here means society. That's it. Society. So in case of closed system or closed society, very little to no social mobility. And here in closed system, a person's and individual's position is largely determined by birth. that in which group he has taken birth. For example, the traditional caste system in India, though it has changed significantly, but that was an example of what? Closed system. You cannot become, if you are born in Sudra group, you cannot become a Brahmin. Then other example would be what? Slavery. So closed system, where mobility is very little or at all completely no mobility. While in case of open system, it allows for significant social mobility. There is chances of mobility. It allows based on individual effort, individual talent. So example would be modern industrial societies, where education and hard work, through this you can gain social mobility. Okay, na? So closed system, open system, but in reality no society is absolutely closed or absolutely open. People say American society, for example, is open society, but no, that society also has some element of closeness. That blacks, for blacks there are various hindrances. They cannot enjoy all the privileges. They do not enjoy all the privileges enjoyed by white people. There are still a kind of racial segregation. That mentality very much exists. So that society, though in principle that is open, but still that bears some element of closeness. It took more than 200 years or something like that to become a black president there. Even women, not a single woman president that is there in American society till that. Women have not become. So what? Gender based segregation, you can say, that is there. Okay, na? Gender inequality, that is very much present there. So that would be a closed society. When you look in Indian society or Asian society, you say these are closed society, here mobility is not possible. But here prime minister, they are women, most powerful position. In India also, even in Pakistan, in Sri Lanka, female were the president, prime ministers. But America did not experience such type of phenomenon. So that's why we say no society is absolutely closed society or absolutely open society. Some elements of closeness or openness are present in all society. If you talk about this, you say caste society, traditional caste system in India is closed system, but in older times also there was very much possibility of moving one caste from lower strata to higher strata, being Sudra to higher caste. That many Sudra caste, they declared themselves into Kshatriya and they become actually Kshatriya also. And this in second paper, M.N. Srinivas has given a very interesting concept, that is concept of Sanskritization. That one caste can promote itself to higher caste level. So that is an example of mobility. We study that. Okay, now so anyway, so we look into such kind of things. Clear? Then come to the next topic, 6. That's it. That is work and economic life. Work and economic life. Now see, this chapter looks at how work is organized in society and the impact of economic changes on social life. So we try to identify or look for such kind of things here. We try to study such kind of things here. So under its subtopic is what? Social organization of work in different types of society. Slave society, feudal society, industrial, capitalist society. Then there is formal and informal organization of work. And third subtopic is what? Labor and society here. So first, social organization of work in different types of societies. Now see, here it means actually that how work and economic activity has been structured throughout history. For example, if you look slavery, slave society. In slave society, work was primarily done by whom? Slaves. And slaves were owned as property. And slaves, they don't had any rights. So example would be, for example, ancient Roman Empire, where slaves performed manual labor in agriculture, in household. Okay, now then come to this feudal society. Feudal society, work is based on agriculture with a hierarchy of lords. Lords, they owned land, and there were serf or peasants. They were tied to the land. They were working for their lords in exchange for protection and their survival. So medieval Europe, where these peasants, they worked on landlord's manor, that area. Then industrial capitalist society. In that, work is organized around factory. There is concept of a wage labor. Earlier, this concept of wage labor, that was not there. And in industrial society, most important thing is pursuit of profit. So people, they work for wages, and means of production are privately owned by the capitalist class, upper class people, which seek more and more profit. Clear, na? So such kind of things. Then you have formal and informal organization of work. Now, what is formal organization of work? It is nothing but a system in which there are precisely, you can say, defined goals of the organization. There are well defined rules to regulate the relations among the parts of the organization. Okay, now that people, they are part of organization, they work in different positions, there are certain rules which govern their relation. And there is goals, definite goals has to be achieved. And activities in the formal organization of work are what? Officially defined, that are regulated by codified rules, and they are also rigid in character, rigid in nature. Suddenly you cannot change. Okay, now if you want to change, there is also a rule for that, that what changes you can do, what procedure you must follow to do such kind of changes, such kind of things. But when it comes to informal organization of work, there are no codified rules, no official definition of task to be performed. Okay, now so informal organization of work. So family led business would be an example of informal organization of work. Bureaucracy is an example of formal organization of work. Okay, then here last is labor and society. Now here we try to explore the relationship between workers and the broader society, including the issue of, say, power, issue of exploitation, issue of, say, changing nature of work. So Karl Marx has given this concept of alienation. Alienation is nothing but the feeling of discontent that workers experience in capitalist system. So there is no fulfilling in your work in capitalist system. So labor and society. What kind of society, what kind of labor, what kind of problem they face. Or you talk about division of labor, Emil Durkheim. Okay, na? He has looked at how specialization of tasks impact the social solidarity. Social solidarity means unity, groups unity in the society, unity among people. Okay, then there could be changing nature of work with changes in society. So for example, say deindustrialization means what? decline of traditional manufacturing industries in which countries? In developed countries. Now those things are moving to third world countries. So deindustrialization taking place there. And that's why Trump said that Apple must manufacture in America, not shift to India. Okay, no? So such kind of things. Then rise of service sector. Growth of jobs in service like healthcare, education, retail, or say IT. Then of course globalization, work moving across national boundaries. And you might have heard that concept of gig economy. Work done through what? Digital platforms, often on a short term freelance basis. Uber drivers, for example. Okay, na? Blinkit, Amazon delivery agents, such kind of things. Also, we try to look here into this automation, AI, impact of AI, artificial intelligence. Now machines are doing tasks, thinking tasks previously done by humans, leading to job displacement or emergence of new types of jobs. So we explore these things here in Work and Economic Life, Unit 6. Clear? Now come to Unit 7, Politics and Society. Politics and Society, or say political sociology. Now this chapter tries to explore that how power is distributed and how power is exercised in society. And it also tried to explore relationship between various social groups and political system. So first you have sociological theories of power. Now what it means? Here it means that different ideas about who holds power in society and how it is exercised. So when we talk about sociological theories of power, it actually means three things. One, you can say it looks into what is the nature of power. Secondly, what is the source of power? From where power is coming? What is the source of power? And thirdly, the distribution of power in society. That which group have power? Which kind of people or individual they wield power? So theoretically, we try to explore these things in sociological theories of power. So they try to answer these things. So what we do here, we study conflict theory of power and consensus theory, or consensus theory is also called functionalist theory of power in that. So Karl Marx, Max Weber, Talcott Parsons and other thinkers, they are included here. For example, if you talk about Marxist theory of power, very interestingly, Karl Marx says that power is concentrated in the hands of the ruling class. Who are the ruling class? Bourgeoisie class means capitalist class group which is having economic power. So power is concentrated in the hands of ruling class who controls the economic base. And it says that state or institutions, its various institutions, they serve the interest of the ruling class. And Marx has famously said that ownership class becomes the ruling class. Means this private property, all the ownership which is concentrated in the section, that class is what? Ownership class, which controls means of production, factories, land. That class actually becomes the ruling class. So power is wielded by that class. Okay, then also we look into elite theory, concept of power elite. C. Wright Mills, he has given this, and he says, he had talked about in context of America. He says that power in modern societies, especially in America, USA, power is concentrated in the hands of a small interconnected group of leaders from three areas he has identified: military, corporations means MNCs, and government in America, USA. For example, he says that an army general who sits on the board of major defense contractor and later he becomes government advisor or defense secretary in America, means what? There is very much swapping of position among these three organizations. Clear? Then there is what? And we study this power elite, bureaucracy, pressure group, political parties. When it comes to nation state, citizenship, democracy, civil society, ideology, so these things are also there. So what is a nation? Nation is a group what? A group of people who share a common identity, common culture, they speak common language, they share a common history, and often they aspire for what? Self-governance. So nation is characterized by we sentiment, W-E, we feeling. So you can talk about French nation, okay na? Indian nation, though still there is debate, we are nation in the making, that there is not a single we feeling. India is characterized by having many nations in a Indian state. But anyway, we say Indian nation, that we are one, united. Psychologically, we are united. Even you go and settle in America for decades, any problem people face in India, they are very much concerned about this and they donate. Or when India wins World Cup or in some other sports, they also celebrate there in foreign countries, because they think we are from that particular area. India is our motherland. So this we feeling is nation. Then what is state? State is nothing but a political organization that has sovereign or say supreme authority over a defined territory and its population, over its population. So state has its institutions like say government, police, military, it has its own legal system. So the Indian state, German state, such kind of thing. Then there is citizenship. The status of being a legal member of a state is citizenship. Here you enjoy, under this concept of citizenship, you enjoy certain rights. It could be political right, it could be civil right, it could be social rights. And you having certain duties also. Clear na? So citizenship. So what? Right to vote. The duty to pay taxes. Okay. Democracy. What is democracy? A system of government where supreme power is vested. Supreme power is vested in the hands of the people and exercised directly by them, by the people or their elected agents under a free electoral system. Clear na? Then civil society. This is nothing but the arena of say voluntary associations and organizations that actually exist independent of the state and also independent of the market. Okay na? And they represent civil society, it represents various interests and it can influence public policy in its own favor. So NGO or say environmental groups, human rights organizations, community associations, even religious groups, they come under this concept of civil society. Clear? Ideology. Ideology. A set of what? Ideology is nothing but a set of belief, a set of values, ideas that actually provide a framework of understanding the world, the universe. Your universe means your society, larger world, not planet, other planet. And this ideology actually guides political action. One's political action. So it often justifies existing power structure in society, or it opposes or say proposes alternatives. So Marxist ideology, it says existing system is corrupt, we must overthrow it and create a communist society. That was ideology. And see, this world was divided into two parts: capitalist system, Western system, capitalist system, and communist system, based on ideology. Ideology of capitalism one side, ideology of communism other side. Okay, then you have protest, agitation, social movement, collective action, revolution. So this topic looks into, okay na, that how in different ways actually people collectively try to bring about change, social change in society, or they try to resist change, social change or say political change. Okay. And social movement is what? Social movement is organized or say sustained collective effort by the groups of people to promote or resist social change. They often have this shared ideology, shared goals. So if you talk about civil rights movements in America, the environmental movement, or say the women's rights movement, these are examples of social movement. Okay. Then what is a revolution? Revolution, a fundamental and actually often rapid and violent overthrow of an existing political system, or say existing political order, leading to drastic transformation of society. So French Revolution, Russian Revolution, clear na? So sociologically, theoretically, we study this concept here. Clear? Then come next, Unit 8, Religion and Society. It starts with sociological theory of religion. So religion and society. Now this chapter, this unit, try to explore the role of religion in society from a sociological perspective, looking at its functions, religion's functions, its forms and changes, various changes in modern times, what religion has experienced. Okay now. So under it there is what? Sociological theories of religion. So it tries, this sociological theories of religion, it tries to explain how major sociologists, they have explained the origin of religion. Okay na? Functions of religion. And they also have tried to look into the impact of religion in the society, or say groups, how it has impacted them. Okay. So if you talk about, for example, Emil Durkheim, so his main idea is that religion is fundamentally social. And actually Emil Durkheim, he has looked into role of religion into bringing about social solidarity in the society, unity in the society. Clear? So he looks from a different perspective. He says that religion brings unity among the groups. Now, when it comes to Max Weber saw role of religion from a different lens, you can say. Max Weber saw religion as a powerful force for bringing about social change in society. So Max Weber focused on how religious idea can influence economic behavior and the development of different societies. So his study, which is actually mentioned in the syllabus, Protestant Ethics and Spirit of Capitalism. So in that he has argued that Protestant belief, what Protestant belief? Protestant belief like say hard work, saving money, frugality, that actually contributed to the rise of capitalism. That was a very interesting theory, Protestant Ethics and Spirit of Capitalism. He said those societies which had this religion, Protestant religion, because of their ethical value, what is prescribed under that religion, people followed that, and therefore there was emergence of capitalism, modern capitalism in society. Those societies which lacked that Protestant ethos, Protestant belief system, in such kind of society like China, India, such in starting this society don't have that Protestant belief system. This society also lacked, means in this society there was no emergence of modern capitalism. Very interesting theory he has given. And as a UPSC aspirant, Weber's this idea is very useful to gain motivation. In that he has talked about idea of calling. That is what idea of calling? Idea of calling is nothing but God-given duty. That if you treat your preparation of UPSC, that why you are sitting here 10 hours and study, if you incorporate that idea of calling, that it is God-given duty to me, that I have to sit, study and do in everything in a planned way, strategic way, and I must succeed in this examination, UPSC top this examination. Okay, na? Means what here? Idea of calling, God-given duty. If it is God-given duty, so you don't have to fear. You simply do your duty, and therefore you success. Definitely you would gain the success. Success is bound to happen. Okay, now so there in that Protestant Ethics and Spirit of Capitalism, he said those Protestant believers, they thought in their value system taught them that whatever work they are doing, it is God-given duty, so we must do with utmost sincerity and try to succeed. And that's what they did it, and there was emergence of capitalism, prosperity in Western societies. So idea of calling. So we study that in detail under Max Weber. So if you treat your study, preparation of UPSC as God-given duty, so inner motivation you would try to excel. Otherwise, only mere watching reels is not going to give you motivation to excel in this exam. That motivation is what? Real motivation is only that in Hindi they say chanik. For seconds that prevails, and next day you forget what reels you had watched. Anyway, then there is our Karl Marx. He is having different view. He sees religion as an ideology, Karl Marx. So he sees religion as an ideology that serves the interest of the which class? That serves the interest of the ruling class. And he has used term related to this religion. Opium of the masses. Opium of the masses. Religion acts as an opium of the masses. Its function is dulling the pain of exploitation in capitalist society, reducing the pain, and also preventing the oppressed class from realizing their true, you can say, condition, worst condition, their true condition, and therefore revolting. So religion prevents working class from going for any kind of revolution. So opium of the masses. Okay, na? He says that religion promises rewards in the afterlife, and therefore it is making people accept their suffering in this life, suffering which comes out of exploitation by the hand of capitalist class. Very interesting. For example, if a religion teaches that poverty is God's will, if it's your karma, in Hinduism what they say, so if poverty is God's will, so it might discourage the poor people from challenging the existing economic system, and therefore it would keep them poor permanently. So Karl Marx says, religion prevents people from indulging in revolutionary overthrow of a system. Clear now? Then there is types of religious practices: animism, monism, pluralism, sect, cult. These are a small topic, okay, interesting things we study here. Then you have religion in modern society, religion and science, okay. Then secularization, religious revivalism, then fundamentalism. So what do we do here? We try to look into relation between religion and science, that is mentioned here, that how they impact each other. Also we look into how religion is changing in today's world, today's modern world. Okay, we study secularization here, the process by which religious ideas loses its social significance, loses its cultural significance in modern society. But at the same time there is also religious revivalism, that a renewed interest in religious belief, a renewed interest in commitment to religious belief, religious practices. Why? Because those people think that there is perceived moral decline in the society. Society has distracted from its true path, and we have to restore old moral values through this religion. So religious revivalism. Clear now? So rise of evangelical movements in, say, America, or say resurgence of this religious nationalism in various parts of the world, including India. So religious revivalism. So at one hand, this secularization is also happening. On the other hand, religious revivalism is also happening. And then there is fundamentalism. What is fundamentalism? It is a strict literal adherence to the basic principle of a religion. And actually it involves total rejection of modern secular values. And there is a desire to return to traditional religious forms. See, religious books have been written thousands of years back. So they literally interpret what is written there, that is true. Any change cannot be tolerated. So it involves a belief in absolute truth of one's own religion and a desire to apply religious laws to the society. And not only that, also they want to reconstruct the society. And their motive is to gain political power. So we study such kind of things in fundamentalism. So sociologically we look into its cause, consequences. Clear? Then come to the subtopic, this unit 9, systems of kinship, systems of kinship. So when we talk about this topic, systems of kinship, this topic focuses on what? Family. It focuses on marriage and how people are related to each other through descent and alliances. So in this you will study family, various types of family, marriage, kinship, lineage, descent, household, patriarchy, also sexual division of labor, and not only that, also we look into contemporary changes happening in such kind of things we will study. Okay, so in this we are expected to study types and functions. For example, if you talk about family, so types and functions of family. So we study G.P. Murdoch's view, Talcott Parsons' view. G.P. Murdoch is a famous thinker. He has conducted various study on family. So he has spoken about types of family, functions of family. Okay, now we talk about Talcott Parsons, the thinker which is mentioned in our syllabus. We also, when it comes to marriage, we also look into various forms of marriage. Forms of marriage. What is the meaning of forms of marriage? It means different ways marriage is practiced across cultures in different societies. So for example, there is concept of monogamy. Means marriage at a time between only two individuals, and most common form globally, monogamy. Then there is concept of polygamy, marriage involving more than two individuals, and in that there is polygyny. Here one man marries multiple women. That in some culture, society, a man might have 2 wives, 3 wives. And there is a reverse concept of polyandry. One woman marries to multiple men. Very rare. This privilege is not given to women, but in few society it is found. Okay, na? Found in specific regions, part of Himalayas if you talk about in India, and in there some society it is found. So a woman marries to multiple men, or say a set of brothers. Draupadi case, that was example of polyandry. Then there is concept of say endogamy, marriage within a specific group. For example, within one's own caste, religion, or say ethnic group. So endogamy. Its counterpart is opposite is exogamy, marriage outside a specific group. So for example, marrying someone from a different clan, marrying in different village or in different lineage. Clear? Then we look into kinship organization like lineage and descent. Lineage and descent. See, there is the system of social relationship based on blood, which is lineage, or you call it descent. So conceptually we try to understand what is lineage, what is descent. Okay, na? So social relationship based on blood. Under blood comes lineage and descent. And there is other things also, marriage, that is alliance. So relationship is formed on these two bases, either blood or marriage. Okay, na? So here it tries to define who is related to whom and the rights and obligations that come with those relationships. Okay, na? So lineage and descent, that how individuals trace their ancestry. So there is concept of patrilineal descent, tracing ancestry through the father's side line only. Its counterpart is matrilineal descent, tracing ancestry through the mother's side only. And there is middle path also, bilateral descent, tracing ancestry through both mother side and father side. That is very much common in Western society. Okay, then there is various rules of residence. Rules of residence. where a newly married couple live. This newly married couple live. So it is decided by rules of residence. So for example, say patrilocal, that couple, married couple, they live with or say near their husband's family. That husband and wife is there, so group is going to live, that couple is going to live husband's family, near husband's family. Its counterpart is matrilocal, couple live with wife's family or near where wife's family is residing. There is another concept, it is called neolocal family. That couple establishes a new independent residence. So such kind of things. Clear? Then there is patriarchy and sexual division of labor. Patriarchy and sexual division of labor. What is patriarchy? See, patriarchy is nothing but a system, a social system, where men dominate over women, where men hold power and authority in roles of say political leadership, moral authority, social privileges, okay na? Or when it comes, or say it comes to property. Therefore it implies subordination of women. And most society, more than 90% society historically, and many still today are patriarchal society, with men dominating public and private sphere. Okay. Then sexual division of labor. What is sexual division of labor? Assignment of different tasks, different roles to men and women based on their sex, and therefore often leading to what? Gender inequality. Sexual division of labor. So for example, women primarily responsible for what? Child care, rearing of child, housework, reproductive labor. But when it comes to men, men are primarily responsible for what? Food getting activity. They would go outside home and arrange for food, whether it is hunting or working somewhere. They do paid work outside of the home. Productive labor men do. And in that we look into the various views of feminist scholars, like radical feminist, Marxist feminist. We look into their analysis, that how patriarchy emerged in society at first place, how sexual division of labor continued in society, and how it can be abolished from society. And even in that we see Karl Marx's view related to it, and Karl Marx linked emergence of patriarchy, sexual division of labor to this concept of private property. Okay. And also we look into contemporary trends in kinship system, that how family, marriage, kinship are changing in modern society. That we find that there is an increasing trend of decline of traditional, say, extended family or joint family. There is a rise of nuclear family. Then there is increase in, say, single parent household. Household means a building, a place where people live. And there is conceptual difference between family and household, we see that. So increase in what? Single parent household due to divorce or say separation, or even by choice, because nowadays divorce has become very common. Then there is also rise of cohabitation or living relationship, couple living together without marriage. Then also modern phenomena, what is happening, that there is an increase in divorce rate, marriage ending more frequently. Okay. In Western countries it is happening. very frequently. Now that is also happening in India. Then delayed marriage that is there. Okay, and this people marrying what late, and when it comes to now childbearing, people prefer fewer children. Then there is also rise of same-sex marriage partnership. In paper 1 we largely focus on world, means Western societies. Okay, now because second paper is Indian society, our entire focus remains largely on Indian society. So there is what rise of same-sex marriage, and legal recognition has been given in many countries. Then there is also changing gender roles, that more and more women are entering into what labor force, workforce, and men are now taking on more domestic responsibilities. Though this change is little slow. And also we try to look into impact of globalization and migration, that families separated by what distance, so new form of transnational families. So these things are expected to study sociologically under system of, can say. And therefore now come to the last unit, that is unit number 10, social change in modern society. Social change in modern society. Now when it comes to this unit looks at how society change over time, especially the rapid and complex changes happening in the modern era. Okay, so there is sociological theories of social change. Now it actually provides different framework for understanding why and how societies experience change, how society actually gets transformed. So when it comes to theory of social change, so a theory of social change tries to explain social change in a general way, that how change occur over time in society, and in that they also identify the source of change. Source means the cause of change, and process of change. Okay, so there is, for example, evolutionary theory of change, and this theory's main idea is that societies change and progress through a series of stages, stage 1, 2, 3, and becoming more complex, and they advance over time. They become more advanced with time. So for example, if we talk about the father of sociology, Auguste Comte, so Auguste Comte's idea of society is progressing from theological means religion based society. So first kind of society at the starting it was theological, then changed to metaphysical, means reasoning based, and to the positivist third stage, that is scientific stage, modern society. So he says society progressed through theological to metaphysical to positivist stage. I don't expect that you understand right now, but you will study in that, and these are very interesting theories and very easy to grasp. Then there are cyclical theories of change, and main idea in this cyclical theory of change is that society go through cycles. Cycle of what? Cycle of, say, birth, rise, peak, decline, fall, similar to seasons, or say life cycle of an individual. What is life cycle of an individual? First birth takes place, then growth takes place, then maturity comes, then old age, and last death. Again birth, okay na, growth, such kind of things takes place. So cyclical theory of change. Then there is also conflict theory of change. Conflict theory. And here conflict theory is associated with Karl Marx. So here main idea is social change is driven by conflict, especially class conflict, conflict between poor people and capitalist, means workers and capitalist in Karl Marx term. That workers are oppressed groups, so oppressed groups, they would challenge existing power structure, class conflict. And you know, Marx has said famously that history of hitherto existing society is the history of class struggle. And for Karl Marx, conflict is the midwife of change. That class conflict facilitate change in the society. So we study those things. So the overthrow of, say, that European society, feudalism by the bourgeoisie, means capitalist, or the, say, here Marx has talked about potential devolution of the workers against capitalist class. So these are various theories of actually social change we try to study in this topic, unit 10. Then next sub unit here is development and dependency. What is development and dependency here? It tries to explain that how poor country will develop, how poor country are going to be a developed country. And here there are largely two different or two contrasting perspective viewpoint on how countries develop economically and socially. So on one side there is development theory, or say modernization theory, development or modernization theory. Okay, now, and its main idea, what is its main idea? Its main idea is that poor countries can develop. Of course they can develop, they say. But how? They say by following the path of already developed Western countries. And what this involves? They say this involves adopting various institutions, values, technologies of already developed countries, like free market, democracy, modern technologies. They remove their archaic old institutions. So modernization theory. Another view is, opposite view is famously called dependency theory. Dependency theory. Now main idea of this theory, dependency theory, is that this underdevelopment or poverty in a poor country is not due to their own shortcomings, but it is a result of their historical exploitation and also ongoing exploitation by the rich countries. Poor countries are poor because they are dependent on the rich countries, powerful countries. There is concept core countries and periphery countries. So core countries are Western countries like America, and there are periphery countries like third world countries, poor countries. So core exploit the periphery, we study that. There is concept of metropolitan satellite. So metropolitan are Western developed countries, satellite countries are third world poor countries. So Andre Gunder Frank's viewpoint we see, Immanuel Wallerstein's viewpoint we see here. So dependency theories say that historically we are being exploited, and that is also going on phenomenon. So colonialism, for example, created a system where resource went from poor country to rich country, from colonies to colonizers. And even after independence, this unequal relationship persists through global trade and this global financial system, because we are living in a globalized world. So this poverty in third world country is exactly because we are connected to rich country, and solution lies that we should snap this relationship. We should not keep this contact with third world countries, sorry, first world countries. That third world countries should snap, destroy their relationship with first world country, because first world countries, they exploit poor countries, and they have exploited, and this exploitation is still going on. So there is this debate we try to study, we look into that. Clear? Then you have agents of social change. Now what does it mean? It means the forces of change, or say the factors of change that bring about social change in any society. So for example, one agent of social change is science and technology, that new scientific discoveries can revolutionize society. So if you talk about the discovery of various antibiotics, or discovery of this antibiotic, it actually transformed healthcare, and therefore life expectancy of the people increased. Okay na? So inventions, technological advancement have profound social impact. And see right now, internet, smartphone have changed communication, the way people communicate with each other, how they work, that has been changed. Social interactions globally. So various things are there. And there are various other agents of social change. Like say we study that theory, structural strain theory of change. That is also bring about change. Structural strain, some problem which emerge in society, it can lead to change. Or say ideology, these are agents of social change. Or even collective mobilization, people come together to bring about change in society. Or even cultural contact can bring about change in a particular society. For example, India's cultural contact with British, Western countries, and we are drastically changed. We eat their food, we speak their language, we dress their dress, okay na? So such kind of things, we utilize their technologies, modern technologies, our institution, our system we have adopted from them, like democracy, universal legal system, everything we have taken. So cultural contact, okay na? So they bring change in a particular society. So we study those factors. Okay, then there is other subtopic, education and social change, that how education bring about change in society. Education, spread of knowledge, critical thinking, okay na? That new value system, okay, adoption of new value system leading to social mobility, awareness, that right now we are witnessing what kind of well-educated people, they'll generally go for what? Living relationship. And they live in cities, they work there, they are now not preferring to get married, they are living. So living relationship. Or say increased female literacy, education, female education, leading to delayed marriage. Also smaller family size. So education can bring about change in this way, okay na? Or say spread of education leading to what? Innovation, technological development, and therefore change in the society, okay? And then separately they have also mentioned this subtopic, science, technology and social change, okay na? So that is separately mentioned in the syllabus, because this is one of the very important agent of social change, science, technology and social change. The very impact of scientific discoveries, technological innovations on social life, on society. So here in science, technology and social change, here we try to look into various thinkers' view, that how science and technology bring about change in society. So for example, Karl Marx, L.H. Morgan, there is other person, his name is William Ogburn, O-G-B-U-R-N, William Ogburn. He has given a very beautiful theory. It is called theory of cultural lag. Okay, na? And through this theory, he has tried to explain why social conflict has emerged in modern society. Why there is increased fundamentalism in society throughout the world. Why increased fundamentalism throughout the world? So theory of cultural lag. Okay, now very interesting theory. So he says people stand on two legs, but one leg is growing, other leg is on same, that is not growing. Means science, technology keep changing, but value of people, it does not change. So many society where this traditional value system still persists, but this innovation comes to that society and it creates a kind of conflict in the society between adopters of the modern technology and people who vouch for traditional value system. Theory of cultural lag. So we try to study that. Okay, so this was about your sociology paper 1 syllabus. Now, as you can see, the topic in paper 1 are actually deeply interconnected. The theories of Karl Marx, Emil Durkheim, Max Weber, they are, you can say, they are not just historical facts. They are actually tool. What tool? They are analytical tools that you will use to understand every other chapters. So, for example, when studying, say, stratification, you apply Marxist idea, Weberian idea, functionalist idea, their perspective. When looking at religion, okay, now you will use Durkheim's idea on social solidarity, Weber's on religion, that how religion influence economic behavior of the people, or Marx on religion as an ideology, opium of the masses, it blinds people, you can say. When discussing social change, you will refer back to evolutionary theory, cyclical theory, functionalist theory, conflict theory. Okay, na? So there is what? Interconnection. Now, mastering paper 1 is like what? It is nothing but like building a strong foundation for a building. You are constructing building. So a strong foundation for a house. Without it, the rest of your sociological understanding, so your sociology is like building. So without this paper 1, your other part or your entire sociological understanding would be what? Not so strong. It would be on shaky ground, you can say. Okay, na? So what paper 1 does? I will not take much time, very little. So what does actually paper 1 does? So for example, it gives you conceptual clarity, a clear understanding of core sociological terms. It provides you with theoretical framework, different lens through which you view and analyze society, institution, system in society. Also, it provides you with methodological awareness, knowledge of how sociological research is conducted. Also, it provides you with, say, analytical skills. What analytical skills? The ability to break down complex social issues using what? Sociological concepts. So these paper 1 skills are not only vital for paper 2. You can apply this. This is very, very much vital for paper 2, but also increasingly useful for your general study paper, especially GS1, that is for society. Okay, now see what I said, that paper 1's knowledge you will utilize in paper 2 sociology, and paper 2 sociology is very much vital, useful For your general studies paper like society paper 1, GS2 that is polity, social justice, okay na. Also it has usefulness in ethics paper and of course in essay paper. So what sociology does here, sociology trains you to think critically about social issues, which is a core requirement for a civil servant. Okay na. So on this note I am finishing here, and if you have any doubt, if you need any guidance from my side, you can ask in comment section. I would be very happy to help. Got it? Now see you soon with this second paper, sociology syllabus discussion. Okay now. So I am stopping here. So you also must watch that second paper, sociology syllabus discussion. Okay, thank you very much.